My next guest is finally back in action. Going to be taking on Damir Hadzovic coming up here at UFC Fight Night, April 23rd. It's Steve Garcia, live from the card. Steve, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on the show again, man. Always a pleasure.
I was going to say vice versa. Good to be talking to you again, man. I see you're in the car, like I mentioned. Where are you going to? You just coming from practice, going to practice? Where am I getting you today?
Actually, I had practice. I came here, and now I'm getting ready to hit back to practice at 2:15. So, just wanted to make sure I made some time for you, brother.
Yeah, and it's much appreciated, man. It looked like you got a full camp for that one. When did you find out about the fight?
I'd say about 10 weeks. About
Okay.
10 weeks. So it's been a good camp. Like you said, like I pretty much had a full camp. So, no complaints there, man. You always love a full camp.
And also, was this the right amount of time off in between fights from your last one to this one, or are you looking to get in there a little bit sooner?
I did want to get in there a little bit sooner, but it ended up being a good matchup. I love the matchup, actually. I think fans are going to be happy about it. I'm happy about it, and just make sure that you don't you don't blink. You tune in. It's going to be a good one always.
Before we talk about the upcoming fight, got to talk about your last fight, man. You don't get paid by the hour. You went out there, got the second round finish. How nice was it to get that first UFC victory and get a finish while doing it?
Man, like I don't go in there just to win fights. I definitely go in there to finish all my opponents. That's number one. Number two, I always want to make sure that it's exciting. No matter where it goes, I want to be prepared, and I think that we were prepared. We had some different situations happen in there that we didn't go in my favor, but that's okay. We bounced back, and we always just regroup and back to what we do best, and go in there and win fights.
And I know it was a while back, but what was the feedback like from that win? Because I know you had a bit of a layoff going into the fight, and you went out there and you performed really well.
Thank you. I want to say that I'm not like a huge person on ring rust. It is there. It was a little bit. It felt like a little unfamiliar, if that makes sense. It took a little bit to finally get, not necessarily the swing of things, but just to feel comfortable, I guess, in there. As comfortable as you can get in there. It's not really that comfortable in there when someone's trying to knock you out, but you go in there, you do your best, and once that first, shot either swings by your face or actually connects, you're in the fire at that point, and you just go. That's really what it comes down to. But definitely had to work on a couple different things. I was actually kind of grateful for it. I was allowed to use that experience and different things that happened in that fight. Brought it to the gym, worked on it, still working on it, and I feel like we're actually making gains just because some of the things that happened in that last fight. So everything is just about a learning process when it comes to harder fights or things that happen like that. So yeah, man, it just definitely benefits me. At least I try to make it be.
Let's talk about your opponent here. 14-6 record. I know you like the style matchup. How are you looking at this fight just on paper?
On paper, I feel like. I think this guy he likes to swing for the fences when he's able to connect. He's very likes the momentum. I think that it kind of plays into my favor. I'm a little bit longer. I'm a little bit taller. I feel like on paper, this fits me pretty well. Whether it's on the feet or it goes to the ground, I'm be ready for either one. And at the end of the day, like, this guy's like trying to hurt me, so at the end of the day, like, I got to make sure that I do my job, and that he's going to be laying flat on his back looking up at the ceiling, and I got my hand raised. That's literally what I go into every fight, just to be as brutal, as mean, and just to keep coming. I'll be in your face every single second for 15 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever it is, and that's always been like in my head. So as long as I have my wits, I'm going to be coming at you.
Training camp, who have you mainly been working with leading into the fight? Who've been some of your main training partners?
We've had a couple different training partners. I actually have some good guys that actually mimic him. We actually have a couple dudes that are actually fighting. Like one of my good buddies is his name's is Bagarel, or Dana Bagarel. I think that's his name. We just call him BG. He's fighting this weekend. He's fighting Gutierrez, I think.
Chris Gutierrez. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, so he helped me out for my fights, and then we have a bunch of up and coming guys that are really, really strong, that are mimicking their the style that I'm going to be facing. You know, I have Josh Freaker. I got a couple different guys that are out there, and you'll see them here pretty soon. They're climbing. They were me maybe last year, so or even 2 years ago, whenever it was. So that's who I have, and then obviously I got Greg and Wink. You know, making sure that you're keeping me on my toes. You know, we also like have good rounds with like Aaron Pico and other those type of guys. So we definitely been working and make sure that we're prepared for this fight.
Good. Yeah, it's nice to have that variety. And you mentioned the up and comers, like that's so beneficial, I'm sure, just to get the different looks. And you get guys in there that are pretty hungry, right? Because they haven't really, made it to the big stage yet. Do you find that in camp where you're getting these young up and comers that are really going to push you, like kind of like you need, right?
You definitely have like I'd say like it's like half and half. You have those ones that are very, very motivated. They'll do whatever it takes. And those are the ones that I like to bring back into like my kind of like core group that we actually work with. Because then you have those other halves that are very motivated, but they don't have the full experience of what it's like to really be in dogfights or be tested and stuff like that. And some of them don't end up, they go somewhere else if that makes it a
Yep.
little bit easier to understand because it's not for everybody. It's not, and it's what we do is not for the weak. So we definitely have to not necessarily weed them out, but I like to stick with the guys that I know I can trust and they're going to take care of me, and I'll take care of them when they have their fights.
Who's going to be in your corner? Kind of on that same note.
So it's been kind of a little bit of a toss up. I'm probably gonna have Greg Jackson, my dad, and then with my buddy Josh, Wink. So my other teammate who's on the same fighting on the same night. Her name's Arlene Benikow. She's fighting Cyborg for the Bellator title.
Yep.
So they actually, I think, flipped a coin to see who's going with who. And Coach Wink is actually going to go up to Hawaii and corner Arlene and Christian Edwards on those cards. So I was a little bummed because Coach Wink's, he's one of my head coaches, and we hit pads, every week. He's my guy, but having Greg there too is just always in your ear, always. He's a legend of the sport to begin with, and having him in your corner, just it's something somewhat satisfying to me, and it's reassuring to know that like I have this person in my corner. I feel really great. But when I have both of them in the corner, I almost feel unstoppable, and I feel unstoppable no matter what. But like I just like having those four set of eyes on me, and it's just definitely
It's
it
like a
builds my
routine
confidence.
thing, right? You're used to having them there. So it's like, hey, if you've been winning, why change anything, right? So I understand for sure.
Yeah, it is hard because we got so many good fighters. We have some people with big fights. They're almost gone almost every weekend, cornering people, and it so happens that one of them ended up on one of my nights, and it's okay. You know what I mean? I understand the game, but you know what? I got a good set of guys with me. My dad's been with me in every one of my fights, all my corners. Greg is always great, and then one of my good training partners, Josh, he should be joining me too. So I'm gonna feel strong out there. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I could be by myself. It's not gonna change damn thing. So like I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna just put on a hell of a performance, get a 50K bonus hopefully because that's just what I want. And I think Damir, he's gonna bring it, and I think everybody's gonna be very, very hung up on this fight. And like, oh man, this was a hell of a fight. When they want to look back at the whole entire card, they're gonna remember us. So that's what I predict. That's what I want.
How many more fights do you have left in your contract? I was trying to remember that.
Uh, I want to say
You have a couple, right? I would think.
I think I might have one more.
Gotcha. Well, the reason I ask is because obviously the second last fight's usually the most important because if you get a win there, you got some, negotiating power when you go back to the table, right? Because usually you don't run out the contract. Is that kind of what you're thinking? If this is the second last fight.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. Me and my management team, we've been kind of talking about it. This is obviously an important one for sure. But at the end of the day, like I gotta have my job, so I just want to make sure I get the win. That's number one. And I guess at that point, we'll sit down and we'll have a conversation. But I'm not too sure how that all plays out. I think we had a 4-fight contract, and this will be my third fight. So
There you go.
um,
Big fight. Adds a little
yeah,
bit more, I'm sure, because it's always nice to, come off a nice win, like I said, and then renegotiate in the last one. So we'll see how everything goes on April 23rd. Before we get out of here, how's dad life? How's fatherhood? How's everything going on that front ahead of this fight? I know obviously, you got to try and find that balance.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. We had a like a weird December. My wife got a new job. A lot of things happened. I got to spend a lot of time with my kids that month just to kind of just help out. We figured everything out for this, camp. But dad life is great. My son he's crazy, man. He's so crazy. He's jumping off of couches onto pillow cushions, and he's wants to climb on everything. And uh, he's a little clinger. He wants to be in your hands all the time. But you know what, man? It's a great feeling, man. It's just a great feeling. I just want to be a great dad, and same thing. Just being a great husband as well. My wife's great. She does so much more than what she probably should, and she just always has helped me throughout my camp. So I'm so blessed for all of them. And my daughter, she is autistic, but she's making huge progress. We've changed her school, so many things looking up. It's almost like a little bit of growing pains, if that makes sense. And
Yep.
I'm just blessed, man. God's really blessed me. I mean, I've worked so long to get to this position on this platform. I'm here. I got a great family, got great kids and a wife and a support system that's really been, behind me. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful, and I'm blessed about it.
And a great interview too, Steve. Thanks so much for the time. We're looking forward to it. UFC Fight Night, April 23rd. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Oh, thanks, man. No, I always just gotta, give praise to my number one, who's my king. Yeah, I was born dead, if people don't know. And if it doesn't tell you anything, like, I'm here and I'm fighting. I'm constantly a fighter. So, I've been fighting since out the womb. So, I would give him praise. And then obviously to my wife Mariah, my kids, my dad, my mom, all of them, they all helped me. We're a team. And we just tackle this thing together. My coaches, Greg, Wink, all my training partners, SMI Facility Services have always helped me. Um, and yeah, man, my buddy Brad, my SS, who's always taking care of me if I have an injury or anything like that. So thank you guys all. You guys are great. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm not really on Twitter too much, but those are my platforms. And if you want to just kind of stay up to date, I'll keep you up to date with some of that stuff. So, and thank you, man. Thank you for having me back on the show. It's always been great.